Hi, I'm Johnny from UltimatePaperMache.com, and I'm all ready to paint my Grizzly bear. This could also be a Kodiak bear. They're both really big. I guess the Kodiak is quite a bit bigger than Grizzly, but we can't see how big he is, so you can call him anything you want to. In the last video, I put some paper mache and some paper mache clay on it. I used a special little handmade tool. I'm calling it a tool, just a piece of aluminum foil to get some really nice fur marks in there. And now I'm going to go ahead and paint him. I looked up some photographs of bears. I've got one here. Found this one on Pixabay. I'm just going to use him for my color reference. And I also used him to make this little card. I've never done this before, but it was a really good idea. I'm going to try to remember to do that again because I wasn't really sure what colors to use for my bear. And I mixed up some different ones. And it turns out that what I thought I was going to use didn't work as well as some others. And so I'm really glad that I did that. What I ended up mixing for my bear is going to be burnt umber, ultramarine blue, raw sienna, black and white. That's it. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I actually started out by painting this white with a spray primer. You could also use an acrylic gesso. That either one will work. And the reason that I use either primer or gesso is because it keeps the acrylic paint from just soaking in. It just makes everything brighter and kind of cuts down on the time it takes to paint something. I'm going to paint the whole entire back of this just with a really dark brown. It's almost black, just really, really close to black. And I'm doing that because if I was wearing this to a party, I would want people seeing the face of my bear rather than paying any attention at all to the cap. So the darker it is, the more it'll just kind of disappear almost. I got this really, really dark brown by adding a little bit of black to some burnt umber and then adding quite a lot of ultramarine blue. You can actually make a almost pure black with just the brown and blue together. You don't really have to add the black if you don't want to, but it was just easier and faster for me to do that this time. So now the back is all dry and I can hold it without getting paint all over me. And I'm going to start with the darker colors and move towards the lighter ones over it, layering. Right now we've got just this eye spot right here. His eyebrow. A little bit in the middle there between his eyes, and this will all be covered up. I'm just blocking in the under painting right now. Did I get that pretty much? No, there we go. And then there's some dark spots here for his mustache, for his lower lip is all black. And right there on the chin, just on the front of his chin. We've got a real dark ear on the inside of his ear. Oh, and I just realized I was supposed to have given him some more dark up here in his muzzle. Okay, back in front of the furnace vent so this part can dry. For most of the rest of it, for the undercoat, I'm going to use burnt umber mixed with the black and ultramarine blue. Basically the same mixture I had already, but I added just a touch of the raw sienna just to kind of warm it up just a little bit. And I'm using a little bit of water and a little bit of the golden glazing liquid to make it flow better. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's really pulling out the texture of the fur. I don't know if I'm going to lose that when I start adding more colors on top of this or not, but right now I really like it. Has a lot of The texture is really making it more interesting. Just trying to blend this area in. Just going back over the edge of the ruff, his cheek fur, because that's a little bit darker in the photograph. He does have a much lighter muzzle. In several photographs, the muzzles were almost white, kind of like my old brown dog. Okay, now you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I've got 2 brown dogs in the house and I decided to let them help. They're right in the middle of their semi-annual haircuts anyway. This is my yellow dog who has fur very much like the lightest colors on the grizzly bear I'm looking at. And this is my dark brown Aussie, a little darker than most of the grizzly that I'm looking at though. There's a lot going on right now. I'm not sure. Is it getting too busy? I don't know. I haven't quite decided. Now I have to clean up this muzzle. And I've just got to put some really fine hairs all over it. There's just one more thing I want to try, and I have a wet paper towel right here in case this really goes badly. I have some burnt umber warmed up with a tiny amount of the raw sienna, just a tiny amount. I'm putting as little paint in the golden glazing liquid that I got out as I can. I'm gonna have to put some water in there because that's way too much. All I want is to put a glaze on there that you can barely see and kind of pull all the different colors together because he's just a little bit busy right now. I'm just putting it on very, very lightly and trying to pull it off of the tops of the fur. Okay, I'm liking that a lot better. Just want the tiniest amount on there. I don't want to get it too thick. Try a little spot right here. Paper towel ready. Oh, that's okay. That's not hurting anything. So now it's all dry. That glaze, I think, really helped. It just mellowed out just a little bit so that it wasn't quite so busy. Looks like nice fur, and the sculpted fur really helped too. I mean, you can still see the shadow lines in there. So I'm really happy with it. Now that was yesterday, and I really thought he was done. But this morning when I got up, I started doing something else to him. And the reason that I went back to do just a little bit more to it was that I saw a video out on the Studio Wildlife YouTube channel, and he had already painted all those individual hairs, all those different colors, and then he glazed it just like I did, just to kind of bring all those colors back together so they were all harmonious and they looked like they all belong in the same animal. But then after that, he did something that I hadn't done yet, and that was to go back and pull out some of the really light areas, just add a few more strokes of lighter fur just to give it some more life. It can kind of bring back the excitement in the fur. And that was something I just kept thinking about it. I really liked the way it was, but on the other hand, maybe I would like it just a little bit better if I did something else to it. So I got out my grainer brush. This is what it looks like. My daughter showed us how to use that on when she painted a cow for us. And I got this out and I got some, I just mixed up some really light colors, really light gray and a really light yellow. I put some really light colors right around his eyebrows, above his eyebrows, a little bit underneath his eye, some back here where the light would be shining through the fur. I also had been a little bit disappointed. I mean, there are lots of different colors of bears, but they almost always have some gray on the muzzle. So I went back over the muzzle. I didn't cover up the fur that was already on there, but I did make some short strokes with that grainer brush. I thought it wouldn't work over the fur texture. I thought it would, I just didn't think it would, but it did, and I should have been using that all along. But I went back over the muzzle with quite a lot of the gray, and different colors of gray, you know, starting out with some light and then adding a little bit of yellow to it, and just going back over it several times. I'm really liking it. I think that adding just a little bit of the lighter color back over the glazed areas really did help. And I put some up here on the ears. You always see light coming through the fur on his ears in every photograph. That doesn't mean that that's the color of their ears, but the light hits it, and since that's what you see on a bear in the photographs, I decided to go ahead and do that too. Now he is done now, except for the fact that I am going to give it a varnish. I'll put a matte varnish on there. I really like the Deco Art Americana Ultra Matte, and now I'm going to try it on because I want to see how it looks. It doesn't work with my glasses, unfortunately. Bear. So what do you think, guys? I really like this guy, and like I said, I probably would have liked it just as much if I had stopped a lot sooner. I even really liked it when it just had the dark brown just right on the textured fur. I like that too. So there's a lot of different ways that you can paint this. Just about any way you do it is going to be really cool. If you make a grizzly bear using my pattern, I really want you to come back to my website and show it off. If you want to try the pattern, it's at ultimatepapermache.com/grizzly. There is a small charge for it. It goes together, well, I think there's 32 pieces, so it takes a little bit of patience to put together, but it's really easy, and I do have full instructions on how to do that. There's a couple of tricky parts, well, hardly any really, but I show you how to do it anyway in the instructions. And once you have it put together and put some paper mache on there, then you have a blank canvas and you can paint it any way you want to, and I really want to see how it comes out. So please come back to the Daily Sculptors page on my website and let us see how it comes out. I will have another video, I think, on how to make eyes for this fellow, because I am going to put mine on the wall. I really want to see how he looks with some bear eyes. I don't know exactly when I'll be doing that, but as soon as I do, I will put up another video, so be sure and watch for that. And in the meantime, go make something and come visit me, ultimatepapermache.com. I'll see you there.